Hey everybody, we're going to talk about vote rigging today, ballot rigging. I'm wearing my United States Postal Service hat because I used to be a rural mail carrier for the United States Postal Service out of Luther, Oklahoma, delivering to Luther and Jones. So I have a little bit of experience with delivering the mail, what that entails, what goes on with that, and I have a lot of significant concerns about mail-in balloting, especially when it comes to activists who are spread out everywhere randomly. What we're looking at right here, though, is a tweet from Nate Cohn, who is revealing poll results. Let's understand and acknowledge that ballot rigging is a delicate process. For one, they have to prepare for a strong Trump victory if they're going to rig the ballots, if they're going to throw out ballots, if they're going to change ballots. And to do that, one way to condition the public is to put out polls that show ridiculous results. For example, another very strong set of results for Biden in the upper Midwest, +6 in Wisconsin, +16 in Minnesota among likely voters, from ABC, Washington Post. Washington Post, yeah, that's a very reliable source. So they are putting out absurd results. +16 in Minnesota. Minnesota was a toss-up state in the last election, and it very nearly went to Trump. And now they're trying to claim that it's +16 for Biden, who is a senile old man who can barely spit out a single sentence, who can barely complete one. And he has to use a teleprompter for interviews. We're not talking speeches, we're talking interviews. So if you are using a teleprompter for an interview, it means that the questions are already pre-selected. They have to be pre-selected for the answers to be shown on the teleprompter for him to read. So they are conditioning the public with these absolutely absurd polls, +16 in Minnesota and +6 in Wisconsin. And that is in case they go overboard with the ballot rigging. They make a too broad of an assumption for a Trump win and rig too many ballots, and it's a massive victory for Biden because of this. Then they can point to the polls and say, well, this is what it was showing. It was showing that he had this massive, ridiculous, absurd lead. Now let's talk about mail-in voting, especially as a rural mail carrier. Rural mail carriers often use their own vehicle. They use what's called a POV, which is a personally owned vehicle. I think that's what it stands for, what the acronym is. So when you're riding around in your own vehicle, you have all the mail in your own vehicle. You're not sharing a mail truck, and you're not, if you have mail left over, you have to deal with that mail. You can't just take it from your mail truck. I think that's called an LLV, if I remember correctly. It's been almost 2 years since I carried mail, but you can't. It's a little bit more of a difficult process for rural mail carriers who use their own vehicle. All they have to do is, at the end of the day, they go in, they case whatever mail they have, and then they get back in their vehicle. Of course, we would fill out our time card, all that stuff. We would return keys if we needed keys to open mail cubicles, and then boop, we'd split. That's how it worked. So if mail happened to be left in the personal vehicle, there's no way anybody else would know. That mail carrier can just go home, take a plastic bag if they wanted to, and fill whatever's in their vehicle with that mail and just toss it in the trash. That's how easy it would be for a person who's using their own vehicle to throw away mail. So if you've got an activist mail carrier, which you will, you're going to have mail carriers who believe that literal Hitler is running the country, and I don't think that they're going to have a problem with committing a federal crime to stop literal Hitler. That's their purpose in their, well, that's what's in their mind is, oh my gosh, literal Hitler, he's going to put people in concentration camps, he's so racist and horrible. So it's a small step for justice, social justice, for them to just hide whatever ballots people are putting in their mailbox, especially if you're in rural areas, which are much more likely to vote Trump, and you're using your own vehicle. It is ridiculously easy for a mail carrier to hide the mail and throw it away. So this, I'm sure, is a part of Trump's concern about mail-in balloting. I don't know all the particulars and all the other ways that activists can try to rig the election with mail-in ballots, but I do know from personal experience that way, that is a very easy way for an activist to affect the voting results. All they have to do is, when they're pulling up to the mailboxes and pulling out these ballots from these people who live in the countryside, who have huge Trump flags and MAGA gear on the yard, all they have to do is take that ballot and set it aside and make sure that that does not get to its intended destination. It's very simple. They set it aside, they return to the post office, they return whatever other mail that they want to actually deliver, and that gets sent out by a mail truck. Usually that's got to be done by 5 o'clock. And then they drive home with whatever they have in their vehicle. So this is the concern. This is my concern. This is why I believe that we should stay away from mail-in balloting as much as we possibly can. It is very easy to rig. That's just one way that it can be done. And as I said, title of this vehicle, ballot rigging, vote rigging is a very delicate process. So you've got to have some poll results that back up the rigging results. If it's over rigged, if Trump has, you know, like a slight lead, like a 2 or 3 point lead, and they over rig it ridiculously to account for a Trump landslide, and it comes back that oh, Biden won this state by 20 points, then they have to have poll results that back that up. And I believe that's part of what this is. Everything goes hand in hand together. At any rate, that's the video. Those are my thoughts on ballot rigging. Very delicate process. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one.